Before you begin to write your APA paper, you first need to closely read each source and write down all the central claims and evidence of each source. For example, with Barlane, young students and adults who have grown up in the digital age lack knowledge about American civics and history and lack the skills necessary to engage as an informed citizen in our society and economy. And so with each point that he makes, I list it on my note card or PowerPoint slide. The same applies to CAR and all the other sources. To write up your notes, you can use note cards, PowerPoint slides, or a concept mapping tool like View. What is important is that you label each card, slide, or note with the author's last name and year of publication, because this is how you're going to write it in the actual paper. Once you have all your cards on the table or screen, then you need to identify the common denominator amongst the sources. The reason for this is that in the introduction of your paper, you want to convey to the reader what is the consensus amongst scholars and researchers about this topic. What knowledge do they share? Let's take a look at these three authors. They each talked about how digital technologies affect our ability to concentrate and focus. If you're using View, then you want to create a Venn diagram to show this relationship. Once you have a common denominator, and there are going to be several, then you can construct a sentence that represents these ideas and then cite these authors. For example, in 2011, freshman college students come to class equipped with cell phones, smartphones, laptops, and/or tablets. These mobile technologies allow students to access information about any topic imaginable. However, students pay a cognitive price for using these technologies because it negatively affects their ability to concentrate and focus for lengthy periods of time. So here I'm citing Barlane, CAR, and Frontline. Let's do this again. The common denominator between these sources is that brains are plastic. When you construct a sentence about this idea, you would cite both authors. So the brain is a flexible organ that will adapt to new stimuli. I cite both CAR and Sidnowski. Once you know the common denominators from the sources, then you want to identify the numerators. In other words, what is the unique perspective of each author or source? What do they bring to the conversation? For example, Barlane claims that because students are so distracted by all these technologies, they lack knowledge about American civics and history and lack the skills necessary to actively engage as an informed citizen in our society and economy. Carr contends that constant distractions created by new media is rewiring our brains. So these are the unique perspectives that they bring to this common topic. Once you know your common denominators and the unique perspectives of each author, you're ready to write your introduction. Just like in MLA formatted papers, you want to make sure that each paragraph focuses on a central unifying idea. Each claim is supported by evidence, examples, explanations, experiences, observations, and/or reflections. Establishes connections between sentences. Does not list off every fact and detail about the topic. Does not list one source summary after the next without any connection to the central argument or line of thinking in the paper. Plays an important role in explaining the significance of your topic. Meets the expectations and needs of the audience. And finally, meets the expectations and needs of the assignment context. Here are some tips for embedding your sources. You can start with CAR 2008 contends that, or you can use variations of this: claims that, states that, argues that, advocates for, provides evidence about, provides contrary evidence about, supports the idea that, disagrees that, challenges the central claim that, instead he proposes that, and concludes that. You can also use the classic lead-ins such as, according to Carr, the purpose of, or the reason that, or you can just complete the sentence. According to Carr, the internet is rewiring our brains. Feel free to use any of these variations in your writing. Here are some rules for citing sources in the paragraphs. The first time the source is mentioned, include the year of publication. For example, Carr 2008 believes that the internet is rewiring our brains. The second time, just use the author's last name. Carr provides anecdotal evidence about friends' difficulties with deep reading due to the internet. In a separate paragraph, Use the year of publication again to remind the reader of the source. At the end of the sentence, make sure the sources are in alphabetical order and separated by semicolons. Use commas to separate the last name and year of publication. Please visit the Purdue Online Writing Lab for more information about writing APA papers.